Alright, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Alright, first and foremost, we would like to begin giving all praise, all honor and all glory to
Yahweh, Bashem Yosai,
Bashem
Bashem
Makakras.
Kakras.
Alright, double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to all the brothers on the four corners of the earth. You know that teaching is good gospel and all sincerity and all truth.
Shalom.
Alright, shalom. There's the brother.
Yaikwam.
My brother Yeramiah here, back with another lesson, alright, back with another video. Alright, hopefully you'll be edifying. Do you know elect?
That's right.
Alright, and in this lesson, you know, we're gonna be touching on let me get the scripture in. I don't have the scripture. It's in my book. Oh, what did I tell you? Luke 24? Yeah. We're gonna go to the book of Luke 24. We're gonna start at very fast. I'm not gonna do exact. I think it's also Luke 24. There it is. Yeah. We're gonna start at Luke 24. Basically, we're dealing with the topic we're dealing with here is this spiritual power and the acts of Yahushua, because the acts of Yahushua, the things that the Lord did when he was in the flesh, has to deal with spiritual power.
That's right.
And that we're going to be touching on. Right, so we go start Luke 24 and verse 1. Right.
Luke 24 and verse 1. Now upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, there came unto the sepulchre bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them.
Well,
Verse 2, and they found the stone rolled away from the sepulchre, and they entered in and found not the body of the Lord Yahushua.
Right, so then when you read the he says very early on Sunday morning, the woman went to the tomb carrying the spices which they had prepared on the ground, like those now put them spices, you know, by Yahushua body, by your owner's body, or by his body, or around them, or how it could have been. They found the stone rolled away from the entrance to the tomb. So it didn't have the stone, the big stone, right? It didn't have the stone there anymore. The stone was rolled away. So they went
That's
in,
right.
but they did not find the body of the Lord Yahushua. I can remember that time. The Lord did done already resurrect. He did already done resurrect. Right? And that's what the two angels is gonna tell them here. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 4 it says, and it came to pass as they were much perplexed thereabout, behold, two men stood by them in shining garments. And as they were afraid and bowed down their faces to the earth, they said unto them, why seek ye the living among the dead?
So that what the two angels said unto the woman and them, why seek ye the living among the dead? Because the Lord done already. Because they come, remember, when they deal with tombs, that way they are very dead people. Right? So you say, why seek ye the living among the dead? Is any dead people there? Why you seeking the living? The Lord done already resurrected already. Why you seeking the living among the dead? Right? Go ahead.
Hey, you might find share.
26. Well, actually, I'm going to read it in here. See, and he says, before they stood there, puzzled about this, when suddenly two men in bright shining clothes stood by them, and those two angels, right? Full of fear, the woman bowed down to the ground, and men said to them, why are you looking among the dead for one who is alive? And I was talking about Yahushua, right? Go ahead.
For the sake he is not here, but is risen. Remember how he speak unto you when he was yet in Galilee,
Go ahead.
saying the Son of a Man must be delivered into the hands of the sinful men and be crucified, and the third day rise again.
Mm-hmm.
And they, verse 8, and they remembered his words, and they returned from the sepulchre and told all these things unto the 11 and to all the rest.
Very good.
Verse 10, it was Mary,
Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene,
Mm-hmm.
and Joanna, and Mary the mother of James, and other women that were with them, which told these things unto the apostles.
The apostles, right? The disciples and the apostles, right? And go ahead.
Verse 11, and their words seemed to them as idle tales, and they believed them not.
Right? So basically idle tales. If you read it in a, because if I read it over here, then my full picture right now kind of reaching. Right, I see it on. Right?
That's right.
Verse 6, it says he's not here, he has been raised. Remember what he said to you while he was in Galilee. The Son of Man must be handed over to sinners, be crucified, and 3 days later rise to life. And that is exactly what did happen. Right?
That's exactly.
Then the woman remembered his words, returned from the tomb, and told all these things unto to the 11 disciples and all the rest. The woman for Mary Magdalene, Joanna, the Mary, and Mary, the mother of James, and they, and the other woman with them told these things. So, but the apostles thought that what the woman said was nonsense, idle tales, right? They didn't believe that. Basically, you know, what I thought the woman come to them telling them idle tales, fables is something that like a myth basically, right? Because when you tell somebody a myth, right? They
A myth is a lie.
But no, a myth is not a lie. A myth is
Basically,
let's see.
a myth is when like you basically don't believe.
A myth is something you just had to go and see if it's real. You can look up
Yeah,
the
if
news.
it's true. Yeah, that's right.
You can look up the news, but we had the access.
saying, The Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men, and be crucified, and the third day rise again. And they remembered his words, and returned from the sepulchre, and told all these things unto the 11, and to all the rest. It was Mary Magdalene, and Joanna, and Mary the mother of James, and other women that were with them, which told these things unto the apostles. And their words seemed to them as idle tales, and they believed them not. Then arose Peter, and ran unto the sepulchre, and stooping down, he beheld the linen clothes laid by themselves, and departed, wondering in himself at that which was come to pass. And, behold, 2 of them went that same day to a village called Emmaus, which was from Jerusalem about 60 furlongs. And they talked together of all these things which had happened. And it came to pass, that, while they communed together and reasoned, Jesus himself drew near, and went with them. But their eyes were holden that they should not know him. And he said unto them, What manner of communications are these that ye have one to another, as ye walk, and are sad? And the one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answering said unto him, Art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and hast not known the things which are come to pass there in these days? And he said unto them, What things? And they said unto him, Concerning Jesus of Nazareth, which was a prophet mighty in deed and word before God and all the people. And how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death, and have crucified him. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And beside all this, today is the third day since these things were done. Yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre. And when they found not his body, they came, saying, that they had also seen a vision of angels, which said that he was alive. And certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre, and found it even so as the women had said, but him they saw not. Then he said unto them, O fools, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things, and to enter into his glory? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And they drew nigh unto the village, whither they went, and he made as though he would have gone further. But they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent. And he went in to tarry with them. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread, and blessed it, and brake, and gave to them. And their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. And they said one to another, Did not our heart burn within us, while he talked with us by the way, and while he opened to us the scriptures? And they rose up the same hour, and returned to Jerusalem, and found the 11 gathered together, and them that were with them, saying, The Lord is risen indeed, and hath appeared to Simon. And they told what things were done in the way, and how he was known of them in breaking of bread. And as they thus spake, Jesus himself stood in the midst of them, and saith unto them, Peace be unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted, and supposed that they had seen a spirit. And
Emmaus, which was from Jerusalem about 80 furlongs. It says, and they talked together all these things which had happened, and came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Yahushua drew himself near and went with them.
I
But
got you
their
back
eyes
in.
were holden that they should not know him. And when it says holden, it's like the eyes were blocked. They couldn't know that that was him.
That's right.
When I read in a different translation, it says, But Peter got up and ran to the tomb. After the woman, they came and tell them that, hey, Yahushua has already risen, that we two angels tell you. Or they would have said the two men that were shining in garments. So them would have known that that was two angels, because guess what? They bow down. So them know that was two angels. So they would have tell them the two angels told them that Yahushua is already living,
Risen.
risen, and
That's
is
right.
living. Because he said, why seek ye the living among the dead? Right? It says, on the same day, but Peter got up and ran to the tomb. He bent down and saw the grave closed, but nothing else. Then he went back home amazed at what had happened. Right? On the same day, two of Yahushua's followers were going to a village named Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. It says, and they were talking to each other about all the things that had happened. As they talked and discussed, Yahushua himself drew near and walked along with them. They saw him, but somehow did not recognize him, and as the Lord did that, the Lord made them did not recognize him. I'm gonna see how the spiritual part is, how it's gonna tie in back to the spiritual part. Remember that spiritual part in itself right there. Because the
That's
Lord
right.
made them
Forget him.
forget
After
him.
they know him.
They didn't know him. They didn't know that was him there.
That's right.
They see that person literally said they literally didn't know that was him. The Lord literally blocked
The
them.
eyes. Black
The
eyes.
eyes. That they couldn't know that that was him. But later down in chapter, they will get to know that is him, and we'll see how it ties back into the serious spiritual power that he believes here.
Well,
Right.
Jake, I can do that and the thing. I get you.
Yeah, man, I get to that right there.
Is that
Let's talk about that verse
16,
17.
17.
Yeah.
Alright, so starting at 18, right? Verse 17. And he said unto them, What manner of communications are these, that he have one to another as he walk and are sad? Verse 18. And the one of them whose name was Cleopas answered and said, Him art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and has not known the things which are come to pass there in these days.
Right? So when we read it in GNT, that's when we will get more understanding of it, right? So it says, Yahushua said to them, Why are you talking about each other as you walk along? They stood still with sad faces, because remember, Peter would have delivered news, they would have found out. Right? That the Lord has risen. Right? But they didn't see the Lord has risen. But they ain't see the Lord yet. So they with sad faces. One of them named Cleopas asked him, Are you only the visitor in Jerusalem who doesn't know the things that have been happening there these last few days? So they would have been sad because the Lord passed away. The Lord got delivered into the hands of sinners and they crucify him. So that would Cleopas say, hey, you didn't know what's happening these last few days? Right? Are you a stranger? Because if you're in Jerusalem, you would have known what has been happening these past few days. That the Lord has been crucified and all these different things with sad faces. Because of that. Right? And verse 20. Yes, no. 19. It says, and he said unto them, What things they said unto him concerning Yahushua of Nazareth, which was a prophet, mighty indeed, and word before Yahweh and all the people. and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death and have crucified him. But we trusted that it had been he which have redeemed Israel. Because remember when the Lord died, he died, as the scripture says, first for his sins and then for the people, because he redeemed the nation of Israel, right? It says, and besides all this, today is the third day since these things were done, right? Which day he was supposed to be resurrected, right? Yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre. And when they found not his body, they came saying, they have also seen a vision of angels. So you see, that's the proof. They seen the angels, and they went and tell the disciples and the apostles what you did see, right? Which said that he was alive. And certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre and found it even so, as the woman had said, but they saw him not.
That's right.
Then he said, O fools, right? Slow of heart, because they read handwriting, so we know it's Yahushua speaking here. It says, O fools and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken, ought not Hamashiach to have suffered these things to enter into his glory? So the Lord came in the flesh and suffered all these things, and then to enter into his glory. Right? And verse 27 says, at the beginning, that's not a sub right, because I still have something to read in the GNT. It says in the GNT from verse 19, it says, what things? Because Yahushua was playing like he was playing dumb for them, right? He was just playing, right? He was playing dumb, right? Because remember, the Lord already know what has happened. But remember, the Lord blocked them from knowing that that was him. So he playing along with them. He say, what things happen in Jerusalem? I don't know. Well, wait, what things does happen? So he say, what things? He asked. The things that happened to Yahushua of Nazareth. The answer, this man was a prophet and was considered by Yahweh, by all the people, to be powerful in everything said and did. Right? Alright. And then it says verse 25, so the note to 25. It says, then said Yahushua to them, how foolish you are and slow of heart to believe everything the prophet said. Okay, remember Yahushua would have called them slow of heart and foolish because they didn't know that that was literally him standing right in front of them.
That's right.
Right? But we still remember that Lord blocked them. That they couldn't understand. Right? He says, okay, remember he says slow, so they see saying, right in front of them, and then realizing they knew it.
God.
Right? So it says, was it not necessary for the Messiah to suffer these things to enter into his glory? And Sabbath 27 going on.
27, and the beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded.
That's all. I feel like I skip down because I know the part I want today. Yeah. Continue from place. Go ahead.
And the beginning of Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. 28. And they drew nigh unto the village, whither they went, and he made as though he wouldn't have gone further.
Right? When they redeemed Jesus, he says, and they came near to the village which they were going. Yahushua acted as if he was going further. So the Lord, them was looking to leave them too, right? And Lord acted as he was going further. Remember his spiritual power he's dealing with. So the Lord acted just like that to play out a whole scenario because he knew they would have asked him, hey, come with us. Right? Go ahead.
29. But they concentrate him, saying, abide with us, for it is towards evening, and the day is far spent. And he went to tarry with them.
He said, but they held him back, saying, stay with us, the day is almost over, and it's getting dark. So he went in to stay with them. Right?
That's right.
So that's him to stay. Go ahead.
Can verse 30, and it came to pass as he sat and meat with them, he took bread and blessed it and broke and gave to them.
Well,
Verse 31, and their eyes were opened and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight.
right? I want to read to the GNT now. It says, he sat down to eat with them, took the bread, and said the blessing. Then he broke the bread and gave to them. So when he would have break the bread, I was watching his hand. Can you remember? The Lord got nailed to the cross, so don't see the hole in his hands, right? The holes in his hand. When he got nailed, right? And then it says, verse 31, it says, then their eyes were open and they recognized him, but he disappeared from their sight. And I see
He
a spiritual
vanished.
power because
That's right.
right after they recognize him, he calls them to recognize it, he vanished out of their sight. Disappear out of their
Disappear,
sight
that's right.
immediately. And that is spiritual power we talking about. They ask I was shine.
That's
The
right.
Lord did all of that and just still play out his spiritual power and show them. That's a different level of spiritual power we're talking about right here. Right? Verse 32, they said to each other, wasn't it like a fire burning in us when he talked to us on the road, explained the scriptures to us? They got up at once and went back to Jerusalem. They found the 11 disciples gathered together with the others and saying, the Lord is risen, indeed he has appeared to Simon. Then the two explained to them what had happened on the road and how they recognized the Lord when he broke the bread. Because what I've seen, his holes in his hands when
That's
he got
right.
nailed to the cross. While the two were telling them this, suddenly the Lord stood among. Remember it says suddenly. So suddenly, when you go into the word suddenly, it's like if you're in a horror movie and you just see that mannequin just suddenly just appear.
Appear, yeah.
That was not there. He suddenly appeared, so the Lord just completely just appeared.
Just appear out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Suddenly appeared, right? Right? And then it says, while the two were telling them this, it says telling them this, suddenly the Lord himself stood among them and said to them, peace be with you. Shalom.
That's right.
They were terrified, thinking that they were seeing a ghost. But he said unto them, why are you alarmed? Why are these doubts coming up in your mind? Remember, it's spiritual power dealing with. So Lord doesn't read the minds already. Because some
That's
of them
right.
thinking ghosts in the mind. Who would have been thinking spirits and all these different things? Right? It says, look at my hands and my feet. See that it is I myself. Feel me and you will know, for a ghost doesn't have flesh and bones, as you can see I have. And he said this, and he showed them his hands and his feet. They still could not believe. They were so full of joy and wonder. So he asked them, do you have anything here to eat? They gave him a piece of cooked fish, which he took and ate in their presence. And Lord showed them that, hey, there's no spirit. I am here.
That's right.
Because a spirit does not eat.
That's
Spirit
right.
cannot eat. You have to have a fleshly body to do that. And that's the Lord had.
That's
He
right.
showed them his foot and his hand. Because remember they nailed him to the cross. So they nailed him from his foot
And his hands.
And he showed them, hey, it is me. Because they would have never believed it.
That's right.
And this is part of the acts of Yahweh Shai. Some of the final acts which he was doing before he went back to the Heavenly Father. Right? And the serious spiritual power we deal with. And that was so part that I had to do all this. Very fast second. Alright, so like I just take a call real quick there. Alright, shalom again on my um device here, my phone here. And as I did read them last few, We was looking to close Bobby, see back call and select yeah, did cut the lesson. But I'm gonna post it as part one, part two, that is no problem. But you know, we dealing with pure spiritual power, and that's part of the acts that the Lord did when He came in flesh. Serious spiritual power, right? And that was so, that was, as I say, as I was going to say right before I got the call, that was so yappa that I had to do a lesson learned and was so beautiful,
That's right.
right? So, as we look into close off, with that, we like to close off by giving one praise, all on and all glory to
Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakadash.
Alright, hopefully this lesson is edifying to Lord's elect. Until next time, we say
Shalom.
to Lord's elect and Shalom, Rabakaya. And just to